Hello, on. Let's start this again.
Well done.
That's how we're starting it.
Nailed it.
Remember when I said I did all those podcasts?
Podcasters.
Look, we're back.
Don't start with the. We're back. Yes, after our 2-week break, right?
Yeah, after our 2-week break. Look, eventually it all makes sense, and we've gone longer than 2 weeks. Okay, but we're back, everyone. Again, hi, Paul.
Hello.
I heard you have the internet access now.
I have the internet access where I can stream, play games, and not cry myself to sleep because I can't do that. But I can.
Okay.
And I hear that you've been doing hell.
Yeah, I have.
You've been doing hell.
Yeah, I've been doing some Diablo 4s. I grinded all the way to max level. I defeated the world boss. I did a lot of things. So yeah, that was fun. And joining us this week is the lovely Rook. Hey, Rook.
I was really hoping you're going to be like, the lovely Fusionx.
I mean,
but I'll take it. I'll take it too. Yeah, no, I'll take lovely. No, thank you. I'm so excited to be back again, and I have missed your beautiful voices, and I hope you've been recovering well after your surgery and everything, Chili. But I'm excited to chat with everybody today.
Oh, it's nice having you back on. It feels like it's been forever since we had you on last, but I was worried we'd scare you off eventually, because I think this is the third time now, or is it? I think it's the third time.
Yeah, no, I'm not scared. I am
Yay!
not afraid.
Yay! So
you will be.
Yes, I was like,
no. Oh, geez. Well, this is going to be a great last episode that I get to share with all of you.
So what have you been up to since we last talked?
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's been a lot of real life stuff and online stuff. We've obviously had some great content in 14. We had the Omega protocol as well, which was a blast to get to host and be one of the host/commentators for that over with Mog Talk. I've been doing some of my own projects on my own stream, taking some brand new players who are also professional artists in the game industry through Final Fantasy 14 for the first time, as well as doing some additional lore content and other playthrough content. So there's been a lot going on, but in real life, we bought a house. So that was a huge thing over the holidays and getting moved in. We moved in at the start of the year, and I feel like I'm just really starting to get back into the swing of things now that my every waking moment isn't just talking about mortgages, thinking about making offers, looking at whatever housing thing. So it was honestly, I feel like 14 really trained me for housing ultimate that happened, and I was ready to go, and we've been settling in, and it's been great.
See, it's just practice. It's the sea sky, whatever it is, of the real life housing market in reality.
But congratulations on the new house.
Yeah, congratulations on the new house, and congratulations on all the projects. I'll admit I did apply for that ultimate hosting thing as well. I didn't get in, but next time.
Oh, definitely next time. Definitely. I mean, it's always growing, and there is always so much going on with it. I have no doubt we'll be able to get you in there, because I'd love to see your thoughts on it too.
No, you really don't want to. It is probably best for the show that I was not on it. Anyone who knows me, I am not good with raid. I enjoy raiding, and I can raid, but you do not want to listen to any of my raid mechanics, because, as I've said in previous episodes...
Way to sell yourself, Billy.
Because it makes sense to me, but it will not make sense to anyone that will ever exist but me.
There's the bacon swiggle.
You got bacons. Yeah, that's when the thing on the red line on the floor goes from one side to the other, and it's the bacon. You got to dodge the bacon. Like in
makes sense to me.
The opposite mechanic of Kefka, where you've got to go the opposite side of the skull, but face the opposite side. Therefore, opposite. Clearly all the famous mechanics.
I feel like a lot of my personal understanding and calls for mechanics are just about as good as that. So, and they let me talk about it. So I believe, look, we've got the world first raiders who are there who have all of their specific terminology. But if you say squiggle bacon, I'm going to know exactly what you're talking about. And I am going to probably move faster than whatever else those raiders are going to call it. So
for anyone that wants an example of squiggle bacon, the vault with the boss that does the attack that aims at one person, that's the bacon. Because it looks like a red slice of bacon with the edge bit being like the fatty part because it's faded a little bit.
Yeah, the one where he goes someone straight line, and at the end it's a black portal to death.
Now I just want bacon.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can't
hungry.
have bacon. I can't have bacon no more.
Ah.
Because my
You,
IBS. it says
technically,
Dark
you
Elder
can.
doesn't have
Technically,
bacon.
you can still have bacon. You just can't have bacon.
I can have turkey bacon.
Yeah, you can have turkey bacon. There's all. I'm sure there's other different types of bacon. But before we get into bacon talk, we've got the
Bacon.
wonderful Fusionx with us as well.
See, you should have said something like better, like it's the lovely burst wombing podcaster Fusionx. The man.
Yep, that's me.
That's a sentence.
It is.
It had words.
The burst wombing.
It sure did have words,
podcaster.
and it formed one somehow.
I mean, it's just an anime waiting to happen, you know.
No. I mean, it probably already exists. Like I died. I was a podcaster, but I died and was no. I was a salary worker, but then I died and reincarnated a podcast host from the womb. But join us in Fusion.
We're just gonna take all the tropes and just cram them together.
I mean, that's what anime has done already, isn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
The anime
We wanna
names I've been
sell,
seeing
right?
recently. It's like the number one party didn't invite me, so I made a party with their fucking mothers. It's like, what anime is that? And that's an actual anime, by the way. It's like,
Look, if the title of the anime isn't at least 2 small paragraphs long, it's not a real anime.
it's not a real anime.
What happened to change that? It used to be so, not to say that there weren't still long anime names, but like it was just like Trigun, Wolf's Rain. There's simple Dragon Ball.
Sort of.
Maybe sometimes you had some kind of subtitle to let you know.
Now Trigun is like the man with guns of 3, or who now lives in a parallel universe.
But to be fair, as I've said before, also the original version of Dragon Ball in UK, Wishing Orbs.
Is that what it was called?
Well, the show wasn't called that, but any reference in the show, they redubbed it as Wishing Orbs.
I really wish they had just named it Wish Balls. I think that's so good.
We also had
I've seen Wish Balls. That's a completely different thing.
We also had everyone's favorite characters, such as Vegeta, Big Green, and Clearum.
I love Big Green. Yo, Big Green, what's good?
Fusion, I'm so sorry we ended up talking about balls for so long and silly words and long anime titles after your lovely and wonderful exploding introduction.
First wooming?
First wooming?
Wow.
Welcome to the Halloween episode, everyone.
My birth was essentially, like One Punch Man. It was that. I just right out, yeah.
Is that what you've been up to recently? Is that your mainly what you've been up to, bursting out of womb?
Yeah. It was a while ago, but it's still fresh.
I don't know why.
No, I mean, gosh, like you have such a list of things. It's like about a house, been doing all this stuff. It's like I put a down payment on a car like half a year ago, and it was supposed to arrive like 3 months after that, and I still don't have it.
Fusion, talk about what we've been talking about on 8th Rate Radio recently.
Oh my
God.
Yeah, the Superior Final Fantasy podcast. Go listen to that instead.
Video game things. I'm old. 11 used to do stuff.
What did we do with Deep Dungeons recently? Wow, this is amazing.
We did Deep Dungeons. We went into the Deep Dungeon and we killed the things, and I turned into a bird.
We played and commentated.
Yes. Well, we were going to bring up Deep Dungeon later, but we can talk about it now if you want. Yes, Deep Dungeon is adorable, and I like the bird. It's so much better than the what was it last time? I can't remember now. I know you got transformed into something. It was an otter, right?
It's better than the fucking otter. I'm actually going to leave the podcast.
I think it is. I like the bird more than the otter.
The otter is better.
I think the otter is better. I have to agree with Paul here.
Really? Your whole thing is birds.
I know, but have you seen that otter? It's so cute, and it's a little hat.
I have the otter plush. I know what the otter looks like.
When you jump, its little hat lifts up off of its head. I think it's cuter than the owl.
That and the glitch of where if you go into G pose, your character will be getting so much bigger. Again, seeing a giant Lalafell when that was a bug was better.
Yeah, that if it was still a bug now, I think the otter would still win for me. But it's not a bug now, so I can't become a giant Lalafell and stomp and terrorize the locals. So therefore, it loses.
I don't know. I think the bird is cute.
Instead, I can do handout, and it makes because of where the bird is and how high I am. It makes it look like if I do handout, the bird is eating food from my hand, and I love it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's true. I did love that screenshot you got, Fusion, of the stream that we did where the bird was flying away from the explosion. That was good. That was endearing.
I mean, that was from Angela's. Angela's posted something like that day one, and I saw that without any context. I was like, I don't know what this is or what's going on, but this is awesome.
Yeah, that's. I mean, there's another good thing you've been up to recently. We recently interviewed Angela's Demoness and have had a lot of different guests on the show. So you just got to talk about the podcast. I love how I'm over here doing your intro for you, Fusion.
No, it's fine with me.
Fusion's like, I put money down on a car, and I'm like, and we've had an amazing array of guests.
You're over here like, here's all this IRL stuff I've done. I bought a house. I'm like, okay, shit, what do I have that's comparable? Part shortage. I don't. So tell me, Rook, what have I been up to since we're just...
Fusion. Recently, I mean, yeah, we've had some bang up guests on Aetheryte Radio. We've been bringing in
and who arranged those guests?
You did.
Shut up. Shut up.
I'm happy to be here with everybody. I mean, we get to be guests this time around, but don't let Fusion sell the podcast short. He does a lot of work on that. Even if I have arranged guests, we all make the podcast happen.
Even if Rook has put in way more work behind the scenes in recent episodes with the guests.
Rook putting in a lot of effort in that work, and she's amazing.
I'm with the Fusion in this because Chili does the exact same thing. I don't do shit on this podcast. I just turn up. I stream it and just turn up. Chili does all the guests. He gets the notes, and I'm just sitting there like, so games.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for everyone for the quality of the show.
You are doing great.
That's my internet problem. Nothing else.
But no, Fusion. But yeah, I know you've been playing Destiny 2 with the recent expansion, Lightfall, and other games recently.
Yeah, I've been playing a bunch of Destiny. Me and the wife did day one legendary campaign clear, which was really cool. Been enjoying that. Been playing a lot of that. Resident Evil 4 remake out tomorrow. I'm going to be playing that a lot. Like a lot. I think my original little GameCube memory card has like 14 clears on the original game. So, yeah.
What's your thoughts on the fact that they might be selling separate ways later, separately?
I'll buy it.
I mean, we'd all buy it, but...
I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. Like, that's just that, like if the original game had come out in today's landscape of DLCs and stuff, it probably would have been DLC 2 back then. So
it would have been a season pass.
I mean, yeah, I mean, because there was separate ways, there was assignment Ada, there was mercenaries. So yeah, no, it totally would have been a season pass. You get three chunks of content for $20. They come out over the next year.
Because we're getting mercenaries, and I'm not buying Resident Evil 4 at launch because money exists and I don't have all of it. So when you don't have that much, like, I've still got hope, crossing my fingers, that I can get the general sales for FanFest tickets next week. So let's hope.
Yes, fingers crossed. I hope you're able to get them. It's been so stressful, this whole ticket process. I know Fusion and I in the original batch were the only ones out of the Aetheryte Radio team that got emails. I didn't even get one, my partner did. So I got to like hitch a ride on that. But we had a lot of other people and know a lot of other people, even outside of the podcast, that were having to do gen sales or just, see if anyone please, hey, can you do it? Can you give it to us?
Those first 24 hours were so hectic. It's like, Rook, I love you, but it sucks that nobody else is going. But luckily, things worked out, and people that didn't need tickets gave them to people that were looking for them, and then the concert tickets went up, and that was a whole thing. And oh my gosh,
I know Roland Berry was able to get 6 of those concert tickets. I think it was.
Wow.
Woo.
I had two in my cart right when they went up, and then for whatever reason, the website decided to refresh, and it lost the tickets.
Well, that
actually
sucks.
happened to me. That happened to me twice.
Oh.
And then finally,
Boom.
like I tried like another, I don't know, 10 minutes later after a couple of tickets had gotten like returned to the batch or whatever from somebody else, and I got in, and it was just like, oh my gosh, it was awful.
Yeah, I don't know if they've still got any, but if anyone's still after concert tickets, they are reselling them, but they're selling them for the same price as the purchase of the tickets. Like it's not, they're not scalping. They're just like they were able to get some, so they selling them for the same price that they cost, which I'm personally not against. Like if I'd got some extra ones, I would have just like, because 150 is a lot of money to just give away.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I'm excited for hopefully next week for FanFest. But it sucks that I'm going to be going to the Europe one instead of America, because that means I won't get to see all of you, because I enjoy seeing all of you.
I mean, I'm sure you'll get some cool. You'll probably get a job announcement. We'll get maybe a T-shirt.
No, don't say that.
There's pros and cons to it. I mean, that's always the thing that, like, part of me is always like, oh, it's cool, we get to go first. But like 1 year, I just want like a job announcement. That isn't Blue Mage.
I mean, I think you're going to get the worst. I think this is going to be the worst FanFest ever.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
What?
I'm probably with you on 100% on that.
I've been saying this for a long time now. I'm expecting this to be the worst FanFest for announcements.
Really? That's interesting to me. You mean like RNA FanFest specifically, or all of the FanFest in this cycle?
I think all of them up to the Japanese FanFest will be a lot more limited than previous FanFests.
I'll be curious to see, because I've been wondering too, with everything that they are trying to get in place and things like the graphical updates, and having just come through this big 10-year milestone, I've been wondering, are we going to be getting a ton of like knockout, hey, we're committing to another 10 years. We're the most profitable game that Square Enix has. So we're going to really like come out guns blazing for this next expansion and have a bunch of stuff and features, you might not even be expecting. I'm so on the fence, because in a best case scenario, that's what I hope they go with. But I definitely can see where you're coming from, Chili, because I could also just see them being like, yeah, just an expansion, and being very like coy about it and saying something more about the graphical updates, and then not having a lot of other news, which we'll see. I mean, I don't know, but I hope that it's the first. I hope it's the first.
The reason why I say that is mainly because we've heard from many statements in the past that we're not really going to know where we're going until the 0.5 patch. And so it's very hard for them to show zone locations and anything like that, or even the tribal quests, without it pointing in some way where we're going. So that's why I'm very suspicious of what we'll actually see before the Japanese FanFest.
I mean, that's fair, because I think, last round, last round of the in-person events, like for Shadowbringers, we didn't get until the Japanese FanFest. It's like, we're going to the first. It's like, we're 2 FanFests in. What do you mean? Like...
Yeah.
I think this time I hope that Yoshida has said before, like, they only do FanFest when they know that they have stuff to announce, because he knows that there's an expectation, right? I think the biggest flop that they've had with FanFests was probably like the one that comes to mind is the gender locked stuff when they announced the new races, because they announced the Viera or the Hrothgar at 1, and then somebody asked to like, whoa, they're like male Viera, and he like was really like, oh, he's like, maybe, and then it's like, just no, there wasn't. So like, it's just the way they handled that, like, just hyped everything up, and it just came crashing down. So I hope that they shoot straight, and they're like, okay, here's what we got, here's what's coming out. Obviously, with the way that the updates work in the game, right, they can't say everything right away. And also, the game isn't just Yoshida, but also like, 16 is coming out in June. Yeah, and I'm sure he's been busy. So not to say that he hasn't been double dipping and that there's not a million other people working on the game, right? I yeah, I think it's very safe to say that, yeah, Japan will obviously have the best of everything, because by that time we'll be where we need to be in the story. Yoshida won't be worrying about 16 anything anymore. And like they can just, whatever they haven't said yet, they can just dump it all out. So
as I've said before on the podcast, I really do feel like the main theme is going to be the 10th anniversary, which is going to be cool. But I think that's going to be the main theme that will carry most of the fan fests. And the teaser trailer is probably just going to be, and this will sound weird, but we're probably going to see like some of the old zones again, but with the graphical update.
Which again will be cool. Will be cool again.
I mean, I honestly,
sorry.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, our trailer almost starts off like the Shadowbringers teaser we got, right? Where it's just like, this is who we are, this is where we've been, and then like 2 seconds of this is where we're going ? And that'll be it, and we'll get a name, and that's it.
Honestly, I think what's going to happen is that they're going to show basically the Scions splitting off, and then they're just going to show your character walking into the sunset and just saying, well, like, where your next story will be, and it'll just say, where will you go next, and then that's it. That's just it.
That sounds like such an early 2000s marketing campaign.
It does, though. And that's what I think it's going to do.
But it does sound exactly like them, to be fair. I can totally see it. I mean, I hope that at the very least, maybe we get something that's like, here's Femhroth, or like, just something like that. I mean, we'll have to see. There is always the chance that they do something that does really surprise us and that is exciting. And I'm sure it is on their minds right now, knowing that, hey, we've had a longer release cadence. We've had, that I think a bigger drop off than ever, because it is the culmination of 10 years. And a lot of people want to know, like, hey, what's coming next and what are we excited about? And I do think that they've had a pretty, minus the release cadence and other things, I mean, I think they have come out swinging with a lot of the story beats and a lot of setup and a lot of things that have been really cool to see and have gotten me hyped for what lies beyond. But I'm hoping they're keeping that in the forefront for what's going to be coming up and what they, are even trying to achieve with these FanFest. It's going to be my first FanFest, so no matter what, I'm going to be really excited. I know, I can't wait. Thanks. But I am kind of sad that this time around we didn't get to do as much cross-region stuff. I mean, I would have even maybe considered going to the London FanFest, but it's one of those things where, I mean, having the pre-order be tied to region and all kinds of stuff, it made sense. And I get why they're doing things the way they're doing them, but it also does feel like those international boundaries have been drawn more than ever, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm sat here I don't really know any EU folk because I play on Aether and Primal and Crystal. None of those are EU related servers. So I'm
I was gonna say I know all of those servers, yes, because they're in North America.
I'm gonna roll up to the London FanFest. I might be like, "Hello, fellow players."
Well, no, you see Tib, because Tib's going. Mione's going. You get to see Mione, so.
Yeah, and Paul will be going. I'll get to see Paul.
Find yourself a mirror. You can see yourself.
Yeah, but then it would crack because it has to look at me. So I'd be like, "No, I'm sorry."
No, only cameras do that. Just normal mirrors are fine. Unless you're a vampire, then you just won't see anything.
Yeah, I just won't see anything. I'm from a long line of vampires, according to my mum.
But no, I'm excited. I'm trying to keep myself a little bit nervous for FanFest. I'm excited for it still, because I love the game, but I don't want to. I don't want to get too hopes up for it.
I'm not gonna get my hopes up because when I didn't get the code, because obviously this would have been my first FanFest, I got really depressed. I'm not gonna lie, I got really depressed because I've been losing weight and stuff. I went on a big binge of just eating food. I was upset. I was angry. I was like, man, shit. I guess I won't go in FanFest, and then I just got depressed about it. I was like, oh well.
I mean, I got super depressed about it too, and I got in. I was.
Yeah, even people honestly, got depressed because of their friends not getting in.
Yeah, I mean, for me, right, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this. This was gonna be my first big trip since the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many, and for somebody like me, right? I do E3s, I do at least PAX West, sometimes PAX East. I get around, right? I get to see people once or twice a year at least. And so for me, I was like, I'm going to go to Vegas. I'm going to see everybody. It's going to be great. Who's going? And Rook is the only person in a crowd of people that raises her hand. And I was like, Yay, I get to see Rook.
I mean, yes, I'm very excited that we get to see each other, but no, I feel you. Like it is tough because like yeah, it's a time for the whole community, right? And then you also feel like weird and guilty because you're going like, oh, well, I just managed to get luck of the draw somehow, and so many other people that like really want to go can't. Or, I mean, of course, there was a lot of discussion this time as well about the fact that there were not even any lifelines for content creators or badges outside of general sales set aside, which has had a lot of discussion in the community. And I mean, of course, like everybody deserves a shake to be at this convention, but it has just been such a weird time. I mean, especially because they upgraded the venue to one that feasibly seemed like it was going to be so much larger. And then to still have a lot of these strange issues and, you know, compared to almost any other convention or event where there are press badges, there are content creator badges, and there are public sales. And like those things don't have to override each other, right? Like they exist in almost any other convention setting.
When I got my email saying that there's no media passes this year, I'm like, because that's how I've been to previous North American fan fests. With media pass, I'm like, oh. I was like I tried to respond with like, yeah, I understand. You've been growing, you know. I understand, you know, it's great for the fans. I understand, you know, you need all the tickets. But inside, I'm like, oh.
That worries me about what they're going to announce, because we're not doing like press that it's not going to be hype. Because usually, if you had like something really, you would have press there. You would have all these people from different news outlets. That's a little worrying.
Well, I mean, something else to consider too, like. Yes, for an event like this, there is always something to be said about like being there in person, right? Like I always try and get in the front row, take some pictures of the stage and stuff, right? The I was there pictures. But like realistically, if you're covering the event, it's going to be 1,000 times easier to do it
online
from your computer. Right. I mean, you know, and sometimes with FanFest, right, they'll do like a press conference style QA or something like that. So there is benefit to being there,
which I missed, but thank God I did, because I would have punched that person. I'm not a violent person, but
there's always at least one person in these Q&As that just asks a question.
It was the one with the ERP, wasn't it? That last FanFest.
That was the last round. The one before that at Frankfurt, that was when they because I think. Was Frankfurt the last one in that circuit for Stormblood? I can't remember. But they're like, we're going to finally do some QA stuff. And this one person was like, yes, how do you justify having a subscription for an MMO in like 2018 or whatever? And Yoshida was just like, ask your PR rep. I'm not going to waste my time on this guy. Like, he was so done with it. Yeah, he was so done with the guy.
But no, I think it was Maelstrom Radio that brought this point up. I kind of understand why, in a way, they might not have bothered with the media passes, because, as you said, it's easier for you to do content at home. And with the concert being the day after, I do wonder if Yoshida's going to be part of the concert in some way, and so therefore,
he absolutely will be.
Therefore, he's not going to have time to do the media questions after FanFest because of practice or whatever.
Well, so. I mean, to that extent, right? The reason they've done the press, like the QA, like the conference stuff, is because they don't have the time to do individual outlet interviews. The first FanFest, they did individual outlet interviews. But as a result, Yoshida didn't get a lot of time to be out on the floor. And they want to make sure that players are able to, you know, see Yoshida or Soken or whoever from the dev team, right? So I
got to brofist him the first year. It was fun.
Yeah. So now, like after the first day, usually they'll do like a press Q&A kind of thing, just to, you know, questions about the initial you know, keynote and stuff like that. And then the devs are free to go around. And then, you know, after that's all over, like Famitsu or somebody will have like an outlet specific interview, and you're like, oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Oh. Still,
fair,
I blame the fact that I will blame the fact that I sat here in a Zoom call at the media tour with my poop hat on in front of Yoshi P. I think that put him off doing calls.
Nah. That's a lie. Everybody
No, I
likes
think-
to do that.
Yeah, everybody loves Poop Hat.
The poop emoji is so big in Japan, it's not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sure he just saw that and he was like, "Yeah, that's the state of the world."
I'm not gonna lie, I think this fan fest, like definitely for America, could definitely use an LBR party thing. I think that would have secured a lot of like people like, oh well, I don't get to go to fan fest, but I get to go meet players and my friends and go to a party.
Yeah.
If we could have had that this year, I think a lot more people would kind of be happy with that.
There was an unofficial fan fest in 2018 as well. I don't know if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Another group of people booked a couple of rooms in another hotel where they had a projector that was broadcasting the podcast, and there was all different like little activities you could do and watch the podcast. I myself ended up being roped in, I guess is the word, to make little presents for people that were coming to the event.
I'm really worried when you say that after saying you were just wearing a poop hat. What kind of presents did you make them, Chili?
It was with Hershey's VT, who's on Twitch. They had bought a load of different bags of Hershey's chocolate, and so we were putting like Hershey's little different flavors of Hershey's in little bags to give to people.
Okay.
So yeah, it was fun.
I mean that's one of the benefits at least with North America is that it's always in Vegas. And so there's stuff to do, right? There's no shortage of things to do in Vegas. So whether, you go in a day or two early or leave a day or two after, or you don't get in but still want to see your friends, there's still, definitely ways to do that. Like,
I don't know.
If they
it's June. I don't want to be in Vegas that long.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the heat's gonna be unreal from what I hear.
There was a part of because before this last circuit got canceled because of COVID, it was going to be in San Diego at the San Diego Convention Center, and it's like, oh, there's really not anything to do there, but okay. And as soon as they're like, FanFest is coming back, I'm like, oh, okay, so we're going to go back to Las Vegas. All right, yeah, that's fine. In July. Oh, that was a choice.
Oh yeah, July's not June. That's right.
Well, all of NA, right? Their office California, so they're like heat, whatever, like not a big deal for them. But I'm over here in like the Pacific Northwest. If it gets like hotter than like 75, I'm gonna melt. So
To be fair, if it's gonna get past like anything for England, we will die. Like physically, we will die.
Yeah.
I mean,
we
it
don't
got to
get that
100
hot.
last year, and it was insane.
Yeah, we almost died. At least I almost died. I was like,
I finally invested into a fan after last year. That's how bad it was.
Oh my gosh.
No,
in a fan.
I am worried. I'm worried about melting, but I think it'll still be a great time. And I mean, yeah, like everybody was saying, even if you weren't able to get tickets directly to it, I mean, being able to still, if you can, or if you already had non-refundable hotels booked or something, right? Like hanging out with people, from what I hear and what I've heard from other attendees, there's lots of time to be able to just get to hang out, connect with your FC mates, go eat something together, The convention itself, from what I've heard, and you can all tell me if I'm wrong, but it's apparently much more of almost kind of like an event by event sort of thing. So as opposed to it being one huge sprawling thing that has like a whole bunch of panels running at all hours and all sorts of stuff, it's usually from what I've been told, like this thing is happening in this hall at exactly this time, and then you've got the concerts and you've got merch.
100% not BlizzCon. There is one stage and then maybe an extra ballroom or two for events. Like it's nothing crazy. So
I mean, we're going off previous events, by the way. We don't want to say that this is exactly what's going to be this event, but from previous events, yes.
Yeah. But I mean, all the discussion aside, I mean, I am so excited, and it already is really fun because I think it has been, we've had that post-expansion kind of lull, and we had this huge marker. So like online, it's been a little bit quiet, even though, the groups that I'm a part of at least have still done some stuff or RP or other things where they can. But it's already like I can already feel the excitement from everybody about coming together, and especially because more people were able to get in off the general sales. And of course, it doesn't mean that everybody was able to, and that I think they really do need to still keep trying to figure out what is happening with all of this and how they can make this process have the least negative feelings affiliated with it as possible.
it's
But
rough.
It's going to be
people are
impossible.
excited, though.
it's going to be impossible just because of the way it is. From what I think we can tell that it was 15,000 tickets sold, right?
That's what we've heard. 15,000 for the convention center.
Which is actually 2016 and 2018 combined, plus extra.
Yeah, like this is the biggest event they've ever had. I mean, part of the issue too, I think, is just there's a lot of misinformation going around, right? Because as soon as somebody, multiple people, right, are guilty of this, is, they didn't win the lottery, which sucks, right? I feel for them. But they're like, the convention center can hold like 200,000 people. And it's like, they're not renting the entire convention center. Are you insane? Yeah. Like, how much money do you think they're making? But it's just,
how much money do you think they want to be losing? Because all these are losses, by the way. They do this for us.
Yeah. They never profit off of these events. So, to have as many, people as they are with this one is crazy. But it's just, the problem is when the game gets as popular, that's, exponentially more people that want to go to the events. And it's just, they can only fit so many.
Well, talking about hype, I don't want to. Sorry, Karen Paul.
No, it's fine. I was just agreeing with that. Yeah, it's just
because I don't want more doom and gloom, because we've had too much recently in this community, and even what we've been saying recently, even though it's not that bad compared to some, I do want to bring some hype because we have to do quite a lot of big things coming soon, such as the live lair, which will be dropping next week on the 31st of March, which will cover 6.4 part 1. I'm excited. Everyone else excited?
What's that going to bring us?
I mean,
content, and at least one new minion, probably.
Yeah, I've heard
hats.
By the way, major spoilers on this. Everyone, spoilers. Okay, I've heard from the grapevine that there's going to be some sort of MSQ.
Oh my gosh!
Oh.
Yeah,
they haven't done that in months.
Yeah, there will be MSQ. I mean, I love where the story has been taking us. I've really been invested personally in all of this post Endwalker narrative, and Zero as a character, and all these. Oh my gosh, so good. So I am genuinely really thrilled about that. And I'm hoping that we get, some other content that we can really dig into, because I think that's maybe been one of the things. I assume we'll get a dungeon along with the MSQ. Are we slated for the next 8-man raid at that time? No.
Yeah, we'll have the last Savage.
Yeah.
Well, a week after patch for Savage. I think we're supposed to get new Island Sanctuary.
Yeah, new Island Sanctuary,
or another.
It's a new island, isn't it?
The dungeon thing. What the dungeon
Criterion.
thing?
I think we're due 2 Criterion this patch, aren't we?
No,
that would be wild. I would be excited if they would, but I would imagine. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, that would be great. We definitely are going to be getting one, I think. And the last one was, I really genuinely adored that content. I thought it was so fun. I loved exploring it. I loved trying to find little secret routes. It was something that I really was just like, I was so happy to like stream it and share it and talk about it and play it and go through it and really try to puzzle it out. The longevity on it, it's been kind of interesting to maybe see whether or not people are running it at all, because I think most people have fallen off of it, which is kind of a bummer. But
I
maybe
still want to go back and try and do the hard difficulty. I really want to get that at some point.
I haven't done that either, and I really want to do that too. Yeah.
Oh no, never mind. 6.4 and 6.5 series where I'm at, so yeah, it's probably just one. I forgot they sort of bundled the two together.
I guess you guys could do a collab and go into the hard content of that dungeon.
Oh, we could party up.
That does sound like a good time.
Two rivals come together to explore a dungeon. See, I'm just writing this narrative for you. You can have a whole trailer.
No, this is perfect.
Look,
I love this.
You can't fight in front of Nanamo, okay?
Friendly rivalry. No, I think it would be super fun. I mean, I've loved it. There was such cool like lore and story and content with that. So I'm looking forward to this next one. And yeah, we are supposed to be getting, I believe, a significant expansion to Island Sanctuary. I'm like, fingers crossed, please let it, actually be really significant, because this last, like, update that we had for it, I mean, it's nice that they raised up the level and that they added some new animals and things, but I was just talking about this on my own stream today with a lot of people, where I think a lot of the longevity and repeatability of Island Sanctuary that people were hoping for, and like long-term goals and all kinds of stuff and crop harvesting and, you know, all these other things that people, I think, were hoping they could kind of get a longer term thing out of, like you get from a lot of farm sims. They weren't quite able to like get it. So I'm hoping that, like, now that, since we have the groundwork and we have everything, that with this expansion we'll see them like really add some more robust stuff to it, which I think we're supposed to be, but fingers crossed, we'll see.
Wait, it does say an additional area, so that means, because there was speculation of another island, wasn't there? So that'd be interesting to see. Also, the trust system for Stormblood as well will be coming in 6.4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you'll be able to play up to the first patch, right? Because you'll have all of the MSQ in Stormblood added as trust, and then 6.5 will add the patch content. So, which means soon, in about a year, you'll be able to play the entire game with trust.
Yep, play pure
pretty
solo.
much.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah.
It'd be great if it's anti-social. I don't want to play anyone.
Yeah.
I would say that pick up the game. Like, the game's on sale right now. It is on sale. It's on sale on Steam. Pick up the game. You can just play solo. You don't actually have to communicate with anyone. Great.
Well, like, unless you're doing certain trials, right?
I mean, yeah, trials. Yeah, that's a whole nother kettle of fish. You actually have to be with people at that point.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
friends.
Those will soon be some of the only things in the actual main story lineup that you still have to like queue in with strangers for.
What if they just brought Parlay back and then you didn't even need to play with people?
Oh my god.
See, I don't know if you knew this, but back in my day, you could play 1.0 as a crafter, and if you didn't want to fight Ifrit, you could just parlay with an Almal Jaw and just not have to fight Ifrit.
Yeah. You could also start the game as a crafter gatherer and therefore be screwed, because you just have to throw rocks at the enemy on the boat.
So wild. Yeah. It's so wild. I mean, I have to give them props for trying it, but it obviously got removed, and there were reasons for that. But
I just love the idea of, like, in 1.0, a chef could have saved the world.
I know. It's so good.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty good right there, actually.
I am looking forward
Ramsay saves the world.
Yes, yeah. I am looking forward to the new Savage and the culmination of that 8-man, because I think the story has been so interesting, especially for anybody who loves the Ancients or has been, like I do, who's been really invested in kind of learning more about that context and the characters in it. So that one I'm looking forward to, and it'll also be exciting to see how the world race goes for it, although it'll be much shorter than the ultimate race to world first. It'll still be a great little moment for everybody to get some hype and come together and see how the teams tackle it, and hopefully I'll be able to tackle it myself too. But it's been really cool getting to see, I think, especially our endgame community grow a lot. With, recent expansion and other things.
You don't think it'll take a week to finish the 4 Savage fights?
No.
4 days at tops.
Yeah, we'll be lucky if it takes, like 2 days.
Yeah.
If you were doing like 3 days, it's fine.
Yeah.
But if you do want to learn about lore and stuff, though, remember you can go check out Rookuri's YouTube channel on youtube.com/Rookuri, where you can watch her playthrough of Fantasy 14 6.3, and you can also watch Guild Wars content and other different types of MMO-based content over on her YouTube channel.
Now you're the one pitching me. Oh my gosh.
Chili does this. That's just Chili's thing.
Chili.
So, Chili, what has Rook been up to lately?
I mean, the most recent video was a Guild Wars video. 1 second, let me scroll back up because I'm scrolling down. Let's play Guild Wars, End of Dragons, Anchor Strike Showdown. Let's play part 8. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, because I haven't played Guild Wars. So, well, no,
you actually.
I haven't played Guild Wars in such a long time.
It's a great time. It's a great time to come back to Guild Wars too. I'm just saying.
I tried Guild Wars 1. Does that count?
No.
Yeah, no, I'll come with that.
It's a good time to come back to Destiny too. Just saying.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Look, I might be getting closer, Fusion. I might be. I've maybe gotten the itch a little
You
bit.
think Final Fantasy 14 World Race is hot, man? D2's lasted like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I think I watched. Who did I watch play Destiny? I think it was Miss Lutz, so someone in our stream team play it, and I was like watching it. I'm like, what is even happening? It's
What's
like
even
I'm watching
worse?
Horde mode or some shit. I was like, what's going on?
What's even worse is the fact that there was an emote tied to the world first. So the emote is now rarer than the world first. Yeah.
I didn't know there was an emote.
Not an emote, sorry, a banner. Like a banner.
The emblem. The emblem.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was it, sorry. Yeah, an emblem to the world's first, and it was on Twitch Rivals, so that was only, you had a short time to watch. Get that.
Yeah, I mean they do all that kind of stuff too, because they've got the Twitch extension too, where they have like sub bounties and stuff where you can get like a Twitch emblem or something if you.
Yeah. But no, yeah.
This is a Final Fantasy 14 podcast.
I mean, to be
fair, sure.
So,
that man's naked episode of Rookuri's, the Gods Playthrough 3.
Wait, what is she posting?
What?
It's called Fantasy 14 6.3 playthrough. That man's naked, part 3.
I was under the impression that Rook hosted a family-friendly channel.
Well, you would be mistaken. It is family adjacent.
I mean,
close to family friendly.
With froth and foam killed me, and then there's a very sus picture of your Stoller in the background.
Yeah, look, I can't help how naked they made Rubicante, okay?
Look.
I did not play for. So when that man whipped his cloak off, I was not expecting to be butt naked.
I was trying to. I'm like, okay, who was naked in 14 recently?
Completely buck nude.
See, that part didn't disturb me as much as there was no pee-pee.
I mean, it's Ken doll nudity. There
was just nothing. It was weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't worry. If you had asked him why he had no pee-pee, he would have spent 15 minutes telling you the whole backstory on why he has no pee-pee.
And honestly, I would have been for it, because I would love to have heard more from him, because he was, I think, the coolest of the 4 fiends, and he got like the least amount of screen time, which is sad.
If I'm rightly though, he was. Sorry, carry on.
Oh no, my comment is not actually really going to add much to this, but it does make me giggle. I just, can you imagine if they really, if they'd really just put his pee-pee in there?
I mean, they could have done it, but not okay. What about if they had his pee-pee in it, but not in it, by having it remember Austin Powers? Yeah, and stuff like that, where you'd have something in the way of the specific item, so you knew it was there, but you couldn't see it.
It's just it's your character's head. It's just right over the.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Or there was or there'd been a zoom out, and there's like a mountain that's kind of rocky shaped and PP shaped, and it's.
And then during the entire fight, there's just like this chibi little Yoshida with a black sign, just chasing him around, trying to censor it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Why didn't they do this? Wait a minute.
Welcome to the weekend.
Talking about what?
Rook's
content. That's right. We were talking about Rook's content.
Rook's content.
Sorry about PPs. So
145 videos over on her YouTube channel. Go check it out.
My gosh. Well, what else were we going to talk about here this day, other than my YouTube channel?
I'm always going to bring this up, because obviously, the big Hein expansion is that, for me, I'm not really worried about the game. It's the content creators that are trying to get clout from people that are quitting Final Fantasy. I don't know if you've all seen this over Twitter and videos of people saying why people are quitting. Do we honestly care?
I've been doing this great thing whenever I see somebody I have a lot of friends that are like creators, right?
Yeah.
But
I'm one of them, right?
I'm on your podcast right now. Come on.
So no.
So yeah, obviously not. But it's one of these things where I've just been so tired of anything drama related. Like I've dipped my toes in like getting involved in that kind of stuff before, and it's never enjoyable. And so anytime I see a video where somebody posts like, "Oh, this person's quitting and here are my thoughts." I'm like, I think you're a wonderful person, but who the fuck cares?
Exactly.
Like I don't understand. Like it's all algorithms and stuff. That's why people are making this kind of content, because they filter it in, they drop a creator's name, it helps their video show up more. I get it, but like, all right.
This takes the Yoshi P thing.
I'll be
Everyone's
honest.
gonna take a break, play another game.
I'll be honest.
What?
I nearly made an I'm quitting the game video myself just because of everyone else doing it. Just because I literally couldn't play because I played with a controller and couldn't hold a controller. I was like, I've quit the game, everyone. And everyone's like, oh my god, I've been like, well, and I'm like, yes, because I can't. That's why I went back to 11, because it was easier to play. But yeah, I was
it does bring up a good point.
Sorry,
go ahead, Chili. No, you go ahead.
But no, I'm just saying it was just easier.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was just gonna say, there has been a lot of conversation recently about 14 community drama. And I think a lot of this has to do with exactly like what Fusion was talking about, where you were talking about, which is that algorithms, content, viewership, so much of what clickbaits people into clicking, because we've all been there. I've done it. Yeah. I've seen that. I'm quitting and I click on it because I'm curious. The thing is that like, I do think it's getting to a point in the community where we're seeing so much of this like inflammatory reactionary content, and we see it all the time, and we see people just lambasting the game more than they are ever talking about the things that they enjoy about the game, or that they love about the game, or the facets of the game that they're passionate about. And a lot of that is because the actual nature of content creation and social media engagement literally makes it so that, hey, well, when I said that I hated the game and that I was quitting it, I got 500 likes or whatever, And when I said this one thing about something I love about the game, I got 2. And so people, I think, in turn, just kind of put this foot forward nonstop for the community. And I think that's something where, like, we have to, as creators, but also as consumers, right? Like, as consumers of media and content creation, we have to look for people that aren't doing that, because it's getting exhausting. It's something new all the time. Yeah. I saw somebody getting made fun of because they were on the fence about third-party tools being used, even though they were in a gray area, but it had to do with housing. I'm not going to say anything more. And this person's getting, like, death threats because they said that, like, they were uncomfortable with seeing anything third-party tool adjacent being used on stream from, like, a large creator.
Yeah,
and it's like, then we see the whole community explode again, or the stuff with the Lalafell chairs and the whole community explodes, or anything. It's just like, it's something where there is so much concentrated negativity that feeds a lot of these content creation machines and cycles. And I think the best thing that we can all do, and especially if you just want to love the games you love, is to break yourself away from that cycle. Look for creators that are just having a good time. And that doesn't mean that they can't have critiques, they can't have discussion. I mean, we discuss all kinds of things on 8th Right Radio. I talk about all kinds of stuff on my stream. But you'll start to notice more and more that there are so many people who are not adhering to that. And when you start surrounding yourself with it, and when you start surrounding yourself with, I think, more like uplifting content and things that are featuring parts of the game that you love, or elevating things, or introducing you to new types of content, like, gosh, Fruity with all the fishing content and everything, right? Before you know it,
and I recommend Coffee. I know it's not on Twitch, but I also recommend people like Coffee and Carbuncle. They do a lovely podcast.
Yeah, I mean, like, look for those voices, because before you know it, your experience in the game starts to change because your mindset is changing. You're not, like, looking for the things that everybody just harps on or yells about. You're focusing on things that you enjoy. You're trying new content. You're staying connected to the community. It's a much more pleasant environment. But a lot of those voices in the community get so much weight because of the nature of content. So I just always encourage people, like, go look for content outside of that. if you see something like one of my playthroughs or a lore video or anything else that somebody has made out of their own passion for this game, Moogle Go Round podcast episode goes up, or you see on Twitter that somebody's talking about some chapter that they love, or, you know, like, interact with those, because that's like how you start shifting some engagement. And before you know it, it's not like the whole community is on fire and the game is dying. It's just that there's like a very vocal portion, that a very vocal but not always the majority portion, that make a lot of money and or get a lot of attention off of algorithms picking up on things like this and people being more likely to click stuff like this, even if it just makes us all a little bit more miserable ultimately.
And that doesn't help that, sorry, we're in the cycle of the lull now, because we're in that point of time where, especially this expansion, where we've had a 10-year story finish, we've started a new story, which, by the way, I love Zero. Zero's the best. We've got a new story going on, but we are in a massive lull from the previous patch to the next patch. It's a new story, so not everyone's completely invested in currently compared to 10 years of storyline, and we're at that point where we're waiting for the new expansion, we're waiting for FanFest, we're waiting for patch content, and people are just like, they're in their own heads. It's easy to get in your own heads, and you cycle like it's easy. Just play Destiny 2.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's one of those things, right? When you get into a lull, especially if you're a content creator that is only focusing on one or a small handful of games, right? You have to find a way to reach that audience. Well, what's happening with the game? I mean, it had an update a few months ago, but then it's like, okay, well, then what's happening with the community? Oh, X, Y, and Z are going to quit playing the game. We need to make a big deal out of it. And it's like, what? I mean, there's been a lot of stuff, right? Especially around some bigger streamers lately with certain games and stuff. And it's just like, my thing has been, if you see somebody playing something that you don't like, or they're doing something that you don't like, don't click on it. Don't share it. Move on. That's it. If you see something you do like, share it. Tell other people about it. That's how this needs to work.
Also, don't go into their chat and attack them for playing something that you don't like either. When I was playing Final Fantasy 11, I had a couple of people come in and constantly attack me because I was playing Final Fantasy 11. What was sad
I can't believe that you would personally attack them by playing Final Fantasy 11.
What was sad, one of them I kept banning, but they kept making new Twitch accounts just to come back.
Oh my god! I don't understand these people. Like, just if you don't like something, just ignore it and move on. If you don't like it, why would you spend more time surrounding yourself with it?
They're like,
it doesn't make any sense.
I will never forget. Like they said, "Oh, you have no life for playing Final Fantasy 11." Okay, and I'm like, didn't I ban you yesterday? He's like, yeah. I was like, how many accounts do you have? He's like, I've got hundreds. I'm like, so I'm playing a video game, and you've made hundreds of Twitch accounts. Now, which one of us is?
I just think it's hilarious that they would come in and throw out such like a 1990s line, like, you are playing an MMO and therefore wasting your time. Like, oh my god, go away.
I would say I'm lucky because Chili's been getting all that. I haven't got none of that when I stream. I get none of that. I just sit there and go, I'm not a good streamer. I'm just Paul. I sit here. Chili does like content and shit. I haven't done anything in Final Fantasy for a long time. I haven't done Deep Dungeon. I haven't done the Island Sanctuary. I did the story. I raid. That's literally it. Like, I was like,
well,
you
know what? Before we start wrapping up, before we start wrapping up, you know what we're going to do? We're going to cycle back to the peepees because we're going to talk about the Hatching Tide event. Because the Hatching Tide event is coming back.
I'm so happy because I really just wanted to talk more about the PP.
Who doesn't want to talk more about the PP?
Because I don't know if everyone's seen the pictures going around of the because you get a Tombury outfit. Spoilers for this. Is it spoilers for the Hatching Tide event?
Nah.
I mean, it's on the website. So
I wouldn't consider it a spoiler. It's a seasonal event reward.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's been pictures going around of it because it's dyeable. So,
Oh, okay. Now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It took me a second. Yeah.
If you dye it pink, if you dye
I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, lovely Tombury outfit. I'm actually looking forward to it. Anyone else
I
excited
love
for the Hatching Tide?
Tomberries. I love Tomberries. I think it's cool that they're finally. It's always one of those things where it's like, what other like Final Fantasy like mainstay like can they do like a mascot style outfit for? I had completely forgotten about Tomberries. I love Tomberries. I think we need an animated Doink emote. I think that'd be wonderful.
Where's their knife?
So the knife was
where's
introduced previously. It was a culinary offhand tool. So we've technically already had that, but I think we need a Doink emote.
Ooh, Doink emote would be fun.
I'm still.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, carry on.
Oh no, I think other than the fact that when you dye it all pink and wear it, it looks like a big peepee. I think otherwise it's really cute. I like the little lantern on the outfit, and even though the Hatching Tide event, it kind of ranges in how involved it is. Sometimes it can be a little mini game, sometimes it can just be like a very, very short quest. I think it'll still be fun to get a little something and some extra goodies.
No, I
just
still
think
find
of
it
all
weird.
the ERP possibilities.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I'm a Lalafell. I don't think of any of those things at all. I'm a good boy.
Yeah. Pure and innocent. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all Lalafells are pure and innocent, says the Square Enix community and Twitter.
Yeah,
all of us.
Content.
And Daddy Chili. Yeah, all innocent boys.
All innocent. Yeah. Goes to fucking strip joints on Balmung. Go to pipe parties. What are you doing? It's all
Balmung.
documented, Chili. It's all documented.
Look. My raids are on Crystal, so I have to get onto Crystal before the raid starts. And oh no, Balmung is on Crystal. I'm just there.
Final Fantasy 14 podcaster caught going to ERP venues dressed as a penis. BRB, gotta go make my YouTube clickbait video.
You're welcome.
I do like it that they're giving glamours and now emotes as well in these events, so I like that.
Yeah.
I do find it weird that we're getting Tombury and Spook emote for Easter, though. You would have thought this would be more of a Halloween.
No, frightened.
Reward?
I'm frightened at all the diabetes I'm going to get for eating the eggs, bro. Come on, it's Easter. Chocolate eggs.
Halloween,
I'll be
though.
frightened too. Yeah. Halloween.
So, what else were we going to talk about today? Oh, yes. Talking about data centers. There's going to be a 24-hour maintenance on Monday, the 3rd of April to the 4th of April, between 10 a.m. GMT, that will be at BST, 11 a.m. BST, where the North American servers are down, right, for the change. Fusion.
We're getting some fancy upgrades that we probably won't even really notice, but that's fine. That's fine.
How about that? So are you just going to steal more of our content creators? Is that what happening?
Maybe data center travel will be slightly faster. I don't know.
Oh, I hope so, because last time I tried a data center travel, like, it was a week after the patch, but it still took me, for some reason, it took me 30 minutes to travel from
that's
Aether
nothing.
to Crystal.
It took, what was it, Rook, the other week?
Was it
was
40?
damn near an hour.
It took you an hour at least, I think.
It was
I think you
insane.
were there for a whole hour.
I had never seen it that long.
Yeah, because I was like apologizing to my raid, because normally it's like 15-20 minutes. So it's like my raid is at 1:30. So I'm like, okay, I switch over at 1:10. Like, okay, I'll do then. So like, okay, 20 minutes is that's plenty of time. It was like 2 a.m. by the time I got in, at least. And I'm sorry, raid. Sorry. Sorry. Like apologizing. But no, Rook, any thoughts on this?
On
the data center
data center, maybe.
Oh, data center travel.
Well, not data center travel, but the new data centers.
I'm so sorry. When you asked me, my brain did go literally completely.
She's like,
blank.
I think people that are late to raids should be
burn at the stake and subscribe to Rookuri on YouTube.
Yeah.
All I heard in my head was just, what, the pee-pee costume? I did have to take a second.
One track
I'm
mind.
So sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to try and get my mind out of the gutter and back on the podcast.
That's fine.
I mean, I'm glad they're doing upgrades. It's always tough because I think 14 out of any of the MMOs that I play has the longest periods of just complete game downtime out of like any other MMO that at least I play myself, because they oftentimes have to fully take the servers offline in order to do maintenance. So in those regards, it's always kind of a bummer because it does feel like, you know, it can be kind of weird if you're trying to get things done right before everything goes down, or if you just want to hang out and play games that night and you're going, oh my gosh, I forgot it's a maintenance night. So it would be great if at some point they were ever able to update, although I don't necessarily think that they will. But to be able to update to having, you know, live updates being pushed possible, because many other games have bridged that gap at this point and are able to do that. So that would be, I mean, that would be amazing. But when it comes to the actual like upgrading of the data centers, that's super important. The servers and the server systems, I think we've all seen, they've been really hard pressed, and whether that's Square Enix's like specific technology or, you know, just the limited amount available or things like that, anything that they're doing to continue to upgrade that and make more possible for us and more players able to play and not have to like shut down data centers for huge amounts of time, or to maybe even be able to handle more stuff like these solo instance things, maybe even solo instance housing one day, who knows? Like, I mean, all of that kind of stuff I think is going to be a huge benefit to the game. So I'm glad they're doing it. I just wish we didn't always have to have like big hunks of downtime when they're needing to put through certain upgrades or changes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us again for this episode. It's lovely having you both on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always nice to come on and talk with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so glad that you're recovering well, and fingers crossed for everything coming up with the EU FanFest and general sales and everything else.
Thank you.
I hope we get to see everybody at some point at conventions or other events, or in game.
Yeah, I'm sure that community members will start working and planning their own events inside the game for FanFest, because look at LunaCon. That's a very successful in-game convention hosted by many different content creators out there. So maybe someone will end up doing a mini FanFest during FanFest for people that can't go to FanFest inside the game.
Yeah, maybe.
Cool. Yeah. So Rook, any shout outs, and you know, where can they find your stuff?
Yeah. Shout outs to you, lovely host. Thank you so much for having me back on. And Fusion, it was great to get to talk with you on a different podcast, not just ours, over on ours. But you can find me, if anybody's curious, on my Twitch, which is Rookuri. That's ROOKURI. I'm usually live there 2 to 3 days a week doing a variety of content, but almost always it's going to either be Final Fantasy XIV or Guild Wars 2. Every now and then we toss in a little bit of variety, but typically those are the staples we return to all the time. And like I said, we've been doing some fun special streams. We've had some co-hosts on. We've been, you know, running around playing the game and staying connected to it, even in sort of downtime. So that's been great to kind of get to take some new journeys with everybody. You can also find my videos over on YouTube, which is also at Rookuri, and you can find me on Twitter at Rookuri_. Again, spelled with a URI at the end instead of ERY, which Rookuri does sound like. So wherever we are, whatever we're doing, 2 to 3 days live a week on my Twitch. I'm usually co-hosting 2 different podcasts each week as well. Outside of that, the Lightbringers podcast on Fridays for Guild Wars 2, and Aetheryte Radio with Fusion on Saturdays. And then YouTube, everywhere else, Twitter, any special events or shoutcasting things that I'm doing, I try to keep everybody posted. So wherever we are, whatever we're doing, we're probably playing or talking about the games that we love, and it's great to get to connect with everybody and share that.
Thank you so much. It's always lovely chatting with you. And Fusion.
Yeah, Rook, where can people find me? I'm kidding.
I mean, I was ready. I was like, okay,
you want to? Go for it. Let's see.
God. You can find Fusion on Aetheryte Radio, a Final Fantasy XIV podcast on twitch.tv Gamer Escape on Saturdays. You can also find Fusion on Twitch sometimes at Raffledurgan.
What?
Aren't you on? You do stream sometimes on your channel.
No. What was the channel name?
Raffledurgan.
It's Raffledurg. DRG.
Okay.
Short
I
for
in my head call it Raffledurg. I'm just saying. I think it's Raffledurg.
I mean,
ROFLDRG.
I guess you have to rebrand now.
Oh, you can find Fusion at Raffledurg. Don't listen to him. And you can also find Fusion on Twitter at Raffledurg. So
Nailing it.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
I don't stream a lot, but there's probably a fair chance that I'll be playing a remake this coming week, so I might as well stream it.
Nice.
If that's a thing you're into, maybe I'll be live. Maybe I won't. We'll find out.
Yay.
Maybe.
I hope so. Paul, have you got any shouts and stuff?
I have an announcement.
Oh.
So I've been working on a project, a side project for, I'll tell you about a month now since I've had my internet lost. I am starting a new podcast for myself because of a game I have destined to play a lot, and it's not. It's the Dragon Age podcast. We talk about Dragon Age 4, obviously the development and stuff, because I'm a big Dragon Age nerd.
You said the game.
So I'm going to be doing a podcast about that, doing and more playthroughs as well. I'm going to be doing a Dragon Age Origins, all DLC to Dragon Age 2, all DLC, and Dragon Age Inquisition, all DLC. And then, obviously, when Dragon Age 4 comes out, I will play the absolute shit out of it. And will probably quit playing Final Fantasy altogether. But yeah, that's I've got my first episode coming out on the 29th. He says, hopefully.
Oh my god, I can't believe another Final Fantasy 14 content creator is quitting Final
Fantasy.
Well, everyone, I'll be looking for a co-host.
Don't worry, Dragon Age 4 is not coming out until like another year, so you know.
I mean,
maybe another 2 years, but
I still have to look. I still have to look around. I still have to vet the coasts. The coasts.
Vet the coasts. I know I live on a coast, Chili, but come on, you have to look for.
I mean, there's some solid people out there. Last time I needed to get a new podcast co-host, I got Rook. So
yeah, but Rook is 1 in a million. It's going to be impossible to catch someone.
When we were talking about content creation earlier, and how I said you should like share like all the like the positive content creators, I'm gonna say some stuff.
No,
she is like the most positive content creator I have ever seen.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen.
Yeah, I think we can all agree with that. Like,
well, you are all sweet, wonderful people. I do my best, but you are also bringing positivity to this space too. So, give yourself some credit.
I know I'm you call me your rival, but I have no way, in any way, shape, or form, even 1% of your final form power.
No, I believe in you. Believe in the me who believes in you, Chili. You're a worthy rival.
Wait, this isn't Rook's final form?
This isn't even my final form, you fools!
What?
I know Rook's final form's on the way. I can feel it. But no, seriously, thank you both for joining us. It's always lovely. I'm looking forward to the podcast, Paul. Also, remember to give us a review. Our last review was around 4 months ago, so if you want to give us a review, we are on bonus roll. So if you can give us a lovely review on bonus roll, that would be lovely. Or on Spotify. We're on all the different sound-based podcasts areas, including areas that we can't actually listen to. Somehow I've got us on them, but we're there.
That's magical right there.
Like, you can listen to us on Heart Radio, even though Heart Radio doesn't exist in England and it's region blocked. We're on there. We can't listen
weird
to
how
it.
That works? It's like when I found my old 11 podcast. Somebody like submitted it to like the Zune store. Remember Zunes? Yeah. I was like, what the?
No.
What?
Podbean allowed me to submit it to all the different things. So I was able to do it myself, but I can't go to check to make sure it's working because when I go there, it says it's blocked.
Isn't technology great?
So yeah, if you want to give us a review on bonus roll. Also remember that we are looking for, if you want to send us a lovely message or just a message, we'll be having clips added to the anniversary episode. You've got a couple of weeks to do that. So if you can email us at mooglegoaroundradio@gmail.com, the clips will be added to the episode. So if you want to do that, please do that.
7 long years of podcasting.
Yeah, 7 years.
7 years. A lot has changed in those 7 years.
Back in our day.
Back in our day.
I have done
The
800.
stolen wasn't blind.
I have done 805 podcasts in 10 years.
That's a lot.
That's so many.
I don't
That's
think
not-
I've
but-
done that many, and I've been doing it for like, oh my god, it's gonna be like 17 this year, I think, for me.
But that's not including. By the way, that's not including ones where I'm on someone else's podcast.
That's wild. I mean, what a huge accomplishment, though. I like huge congrats to both of
Thank
you
you.
and everything you've done with the podcast and all the episodes and the guest appearances and everything. And I cannot wait for this new Dragon Age podcast because I too love Dragon Age. So I will be keeping an eye out myself for all your Dragon Age content coming up.
Yay! And Paul, I'll admit, when I was playing Diablo 4 last week, I made a sorcerer, and I ended up having someone called Morrigan come and help me out. I'm like, wait, is this Paul?
I mean, I have been known.
By the way, Morrigan is my favorite character in Dragon Age. So just
I mean,
heads
that's
up on
fair.
that.
She's powerful. Yeah, she could
Yeah.
destroy us.
Yeah, and I like that. That's what I like.
Oh, spoiler, she can save your life by having sex with you. Yeah.
Yeah,
play the
that's
game.
true.
and
Go play
on that
Dragon Age
episode of
Origin.
Moogle Go Around Radio, goodbye.
See you later. Remember, be good people.
Bye.